In his new book, author Robert Greene turns to the most important subject of all, understanding people's drives and motivations. Our lives depend on our relationships with people. Knowing why people do what they do is the most important tool we can possess. This is a very large and complex book, so for a better understanding I suggest you to read it. These are some of the most powerful laws of human nature. See through people's masks, the law of role-playing. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Shakespeare. In everyday life you notice that people most of the time say the right things, smile, and seem interested in others' ideas. That's because they tend to wear the mask that shows them off in the best possible light. We take this appearance for reality and never really know their true feelings. Then comes the period when we are blindsided by their sudden resistance, hostility, and manipulative actions. That's because the mask has cracks in it. People continually leak out their true feelings in the non-verbal cues they can't completely control. Facial expressions, changes in the voice, tension in the body, and nervous gestures. Pay attention to this language. Transform yourself into a superior reader. That way you will be prepared to take the proper defensive measures. Know your limits. The law of grandiosity. All of us have a deep need to think highly of ourselves. If that opinion of our goodness, greatness and brilliance diverges enough from reality, we become grandiose. We imagine that we are superior. Often a small measure of success will elevate our natural grandiosity to even more dangerous levels. Our high self-opinion has now been confirmed by events. We forget the role that luck may have played in success, or the contributions of others. We imagine we are special. Losing contact with reality, we make irrational decisions. That is why our success often doesn't last. Meditate on our common mortality, the law of death denial. Most of us spend our lives avoiding the thought of death. Instead, we should think about death constantly. Understanding that life is short will fill us with sense of purpose and urgency to realize our goals. It will train us to easier manage our inevitable setbacks, separations, and crises in life. It will show us what really matters in our brief existence. Determine the strength of people's character. The law of compulsive behavior. Train yourself to look deep in people and see their character. We are all weak at estimating the character of people we meet. Their public image, reputation easily fascinates us. Instead of determining their ability to work with others, keep their promises, remain strong in difficult circumstances, we choose to work with or hire people based on their resume, intelligence, and charm. But even a positive trait such as intelligence is worthless if a person is a weak or unreliable character. Elevate your perspective. The law of short-sightedness. Each of us has a tendency to be impatient and to react quickly at certain moments. And after a certain amount of time, we regret that. For example, we meet someone new who is energetic and charming at the first glance, and therefore we decide to become friends with this person. After a while, it turns out that this person was the opposite of everything we have been thinking of, and from whose friendship we will need years to recover. What we need to understand is that time is the best teacher. With time we get more information and see the truth, what was invisible to us at the present moment. So when you encounter a problem or an exciting opportunity, take some time to calm down, consider, and look at the situation better. Take a look at the overall context of the event and not just what immediately catch your attention. Confront your dark side, the law of repression. When we think about the people we see every day, we can agree that they are usually kind, caring, responsible. But sometimes we notice behaviors that are contradictory to what we normally see. Suddenly they make some critical or cruel comment about us or others, or we hear from others how unpleasantly they are treating employees behind closed doors, or we catch them in lies and manipulative actions. What we witness in these moments is the dark side of their character. People release their dark side through contradictory behavior. They say one thing but do the other, and through emotional outbursts. Transform self-love into empathy, the law of narcissism. All of us naturally have the most important tool for connecting with people and achieving social power, empathy. Empathy can enable us to understand the moods and the thoughts of others, giving us the power to anticipate human actions and gently reduce their resistance. However, empathy is blunted within us because of our self-absorption. We are all narcissists, some bigger than others. Our mission in life is to accept this self-love and learn how to turn our sensitivity to others instead toward ourselves. Master your emotional self, the law of irrationality. We are all unconscious of how deeply the emotions control us. They rush us into action without careful consideration of the consequences. They make us see what we want to see. That is why we should develop the skill of rationality, reasoning, to think instead of react. The difference between rational and irrational person can be seen in everyday life. For example, in a couple who is going through divorce, rational people will let go of any anger and figure out what is the best for their child in the long run, while irrational people will allow rage and vengeance to affect their decisions, which will lead to a long battle and a damaged child. Become an elusive object of desire, the law of covetousness. Presence and absence have strong effects on us. Too much presence reduces the interest, while a certain degree of absence increases it. Learn to create some mystery around you, to strategically use your absence so that people want your return and your presence. Also, give people what they lack or what they are forbidden to have, and they will go crazy with desire. Soften people's resistance by confirming their self-opinion, the law of defensiveness. We all know that when someone tries to persuade us or attempts to change us, we become defensive and show resistance. So to move people out of their defensive positions, we have to make it look like they are doing something voluntarily. Make them feel that that certain thing is good for them. By creating feeling of enthusiasm and kindness, you will soften their resistance and make them help you. Never attack people for their beliefs and mock their insecurities and intelligence. It will only make them more defensive.